Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Haunted Basement Studio, and in this hardcore comic book review, I am doing Vampirella, Bloodlust from 2007, so let's jump right into it. Vampirella, Bloodlust, Book 1. It began as a love story of vampirillas and a man, Vampirella and Adam Van Helsing, and the life they shared. Then it ended. First Adam, then Vampirella were brutally murdered at the hands of the mistress Nyx. But the story wasn't finished. Vampirella was reborn with a new mission: to hunt down all vampires, to kill her brothers and sisters, for atone for their evil. This chapter takes place between Vampirella's death and rebirth. It is a story of mother and a daughter and a lover, a story of the choices between forbidden love and duty, a story of a vampire's learning to be human. It's a bloodlust. Vampirella wakes up from the blackness of a void where she thought she was going to be for eternity. She opens her eyes and she hears a voice saying, "Vampirella." And she says, "I know that voice. How can it be? Is that you, Adam? I thought you were dead. Where are we?" He says, "Take a look." And they are in Drakulon, but all the rivers of blood have dried up. She says, "Oh my God, what happened to this place?" He says that Drakulon is now hell, and your mother Lilith is the ruler. Vampirella says, "This isn't the memory I have of Drakulon. Where's the rivers of blood that fed this life to this planet?" And Adam looks at her and says, "The planet is dying. It is drying up." And she says, "Why are you even here, Adam?" He says, "I am fearful to tell you. You may change your mind, change your feelings about me." And she says, "Nothing will ever change my feelings about you." And he says, "Okay, well, let's take a moment." And all of a sudden, there are foragers coming through the hills and the deserts of Drakulon. He says, "These are savage people right here. Since there is no blood, they take the bloods from the inhabitants of this planet." She says, "What?" He says, "The change in the land brought about the change in its people. The peaceful nature of Draculonians have been exploded into the need for survival. Foragers travel in small numbers. They hunt and will kill the strangers they find." And Vampirella says, "Why?" He says, "There is no blood in this world, Vampirella, not anymore, except in people's veins." And all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh my God, we've been spotted, and it is time to fight or die." And now Adam says, "It's blood that you want? Well, then try your own." And Vampirella goes flying through the air. And as she bites down on one of the foragers' neck, she's got blood just dripping down off of her fangs. And as they battle with these enemies, Vampirella jumps on one of their dragons, and they say, "Look, the girl is trying to get away." She says, "No, I'm not trying to get away," as she comes back and jumps and lures at them and digs her fangs in their neck. As Adam is, the battle is over as Vampirella and Adam are covered in blood. Adam says, "Vampirella, are you alright?" As she looks over him as she's on all fours, just got done draining all of the blood out of one of the foragers, and she says, "I am totally fine." And now Adam is eating one of the beasts, and he says, "These beasts taste like chicken, but it seems that everything that is strange tastes like chicken. Here, you want some?" And Vampirella says, "No, the blood of my enemies has filled me up. But then again, it has scared me, because in that battle, I have never been more brutal, more fiercer. And the thirst for blood, I've never felt that way before. Maybe returning here to Drakulon has changed me. And my race, we were so gentle. Now we roam and kill for survival. Now I slaughter with relish." This is so different from the past I recall. And now Adam looks at her and says, perhaps your death and return to hell changed you. My death changed me, I know. The man I was who walked the earth could have never fought those riders like I did. Adam now says, Vampirella, the change in your people has nothing to do with them dying. It is all your mother's fault, Lilith. She lives here in hell, but she made the little corner of hell her own paradise, where she duplicated the river Styx, where it used to flow. And if we can find that Styx river, then maybe we can restore Drakulon. As God began a war with Lilith and Drakulon, the river slowly started to dry up. So the river was Lilith's life force. So she had to get rid of one to survive. So she decided to let the river dry up to save her own life. But in the meantime, Drakulon dried up and failed and slowly started to die. And that's why we are in hell now. But as all the rivers ran dry, so did all the inhabitants of this planet. And with all the countless deaths of this planet, everybody turned into barbarians. And now Vampirella says, how can my mother allow this? She used to be so good. She even sent me to Earth as an agent to repair all of her sins. And Adam says her choice was to live or let live, but she chose herself to live. And many would have done the same thing. And now Adam looks at Vampirella and says, I have a purpose here. You must help me, Vampirella. If we can find the Styx, we can restore it. It may be blocked, but if we can find it, we can heal this land. And now Vampirella looks at Adam and says, who gave you this task, Adam? You are a good man. Why are you even in hell? And this is so confusing to me. And he looks at her and says, I will explain it to you, but not now. She says, to restore the river, Adam? I don't know if I can do it, because that means be killing my mother. And even if I do decide when we get to the final task, I might just take you out. And Adam says, please don't say that, because you have no idea what that will do. And then she says, that means that we will be foes and one of us will die. I don't know, Adam. I really need to think about this. And I know that people need the blood, but then again, Lilith is my mother. And now Lilith is in the Garden of Eden. Well, what's left of it, she can stay alive. And this little place around her, she can keep alive. But it is just a ghost of what it once was. As her minions show up and say, Lilith, Mother Lilith, Vampirella is here. And she says she's in the garden. They say, no, she's in Drakulon. But she's not alone. She's with Van Helsing. She says Van Helsing's with her? Oh my God, what kind of sick game is this? Not even my father would pull that trick on me. I need you to go bring me Vampirella. I must speak to her and tell her what's going on. And in the meantime, if Van Helsing dies, I'll be totally fine with that. Just bring me my daughter. And now Lilith closes her eyes to take a nap. For once, she is taking slumbers, but there's been millennia where she wouldn't sleep at all. Now Vampirella and Van Helsing are walking in the lost city, in the ruins. And now Vampirella is wondering how Adam knows so much about Drakulon. And right then and there, Lilith's minions show up and they say, Vampirella, your mother Lilith would want some words with you. But for Adam, she has nothing to say to him. And the minions throw a trap over Adam, and he says, Vampirella, run, I can hold them off. She says no and rips the trap off of Adam and says, I'm staying with you until I know all the facts. And now Vampirella says, stay away from me. If you're just obeying orders, and you will do that. And the minions say, we need to take her down. Let's use force. And now Vampirella looks at them with her fangs out and says, you were warned. And as she kills them all and drinks all their blood, she's licking her lips and her fingers, and she says, I've decided, Adam, I am gonna go with you. Adam says, I don't want you to make harsh decisions in the heat of the battle. And like I said earlier, Lilith is sustaining her life by keeping the river dry. And if the river flows, she will die. And now Vampirella looks at Adam and says, I love my mother, but I love my homeland more. And I cannot see it perish and die, and I won't. So we must go on so Drakulon can live again. The end of chapter 1. Alright, man, first thing I want to say is that the art in this book is a freaking 12 out of 10. It's absolutely amazing. Frick it, give it a 15, dude. Joe Jusko is absolutely amazing artist. One of the most prettiest books I've ever seen, and Vampirella drawn so sexy as hell. Absolutely love it. This is from the Harris Company from 2007. So 2007, dude, man, we're going back in time on this one. And I got the Facsimile edition of this one, but you can still buy. I found issue number 1 and 2 for about $8 each. I don't have issue number 2, so I'm going to be ordering that one so I can review this one next. And if you like this review, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you be notified when chapter 2 does come out. And it's only going to be maybe next week, so don't worry about it. You ain't going to have to wait long. Man, I thought this series, or this first book, was amazing, dude. Going back in time, kind of seeing how Vampirella was written, you know, back in the Harris days before Dynamite got a hold of her. And I'm absolutely digging it, loving it, dude. Freaking 10 out of 10 with the art at a 12, 15 out of 10. Freaking amazing, dude. Great storytelling by Robinson. Absolutely killed it. So, man, tell me what you think about Bloodlust, Vampirella. I know you Vampirella fans out there probably remember this one from, you know, almost 2 decades ago, man. Hell yeah. Thank you all for joining me in a haunted basement studio. I was your host, Triple B. And you guys remember one thing. You keep it hardcore. Comics. Laters.